and I want more people to go to it because I kind of feel like Tom Cruise's graciousness towards fans and towards movie-going audiences deserves reward. Is it a fitting end like they're marketing it as?
Not
I don't
really.
think so. Yeah.
Hope,
I
hope
kind of hope they make one more and it's a little bit better than this.
I kind of hope that this isn't the last one, just because I felt like it was just down a few rungs from some of their other films.
Hello and welcome to the Brothers Random Show. My name is Travis.
I'm Michael.
And we are two ordinary brothers discussing extraordinary ideas and some random shit. Michael, why are we here?
Today we are reviewing the film Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
This can't all be true.
Every word.
CIA Black Vault break-in.
Am I reading this correctly? The Kremlin bombing?
In fairness, the bomb was actually meant to kill him.
He gassed a security briefing.
That was just 2 months ago.
This explains the handcuffs. It's still not clear why he's here.
If we want to bring the world back from the brink, we have to deal with him.
Should he choose to accept?
Smart people on every side are close to panicking.
What exactly is your plan?
Your team has been betrayed, Ethan.
Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning is directed by Christopher McQuarrie. It stars Tom Cruise, obviously. It's got Haley Atwell in it, Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg, and a whole host of a lot of other people in it, people that you recognize from everything. We are going to be spoiling all of the Mission Impossibles pretty much all the way through because this one does a lot of callbacks. And then we'll get into spoilers for this one about a third of the way through the show. My overall thoughts are the plot is extremely convoluted and way too packed full of shit that shouldn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost like Tom Cruise nowadays goes, this stunt is the stunt I want to do. And then they put a story around the stunt.
And that's probably true. The action in this film is top notch.
Yeah,
like,
it's so
really
good.
Great. It was good. Like I was entertained, but I get where a lot of people just talking about the plot and the runtime.
The runtime is
everything
is an issue. It's definitely an issue.
But I was entertained.
Are you not entertained?
I would say if you haven't seen it, I would say this is worth seeing in the theaters. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
But
and I want to support Tom Cruise because he's a very rare individual. He's had some issues in the past, but I want to say that he either acts grateful or is grateful either way towards fans, towards people, the paying customer of Hollywood. We have too many entitled actors.
Weird.
Who think that they are deserving of all praise, all money, all power.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Cruise, every time you see an interview with him, he's extremely humble. He doesn't bring politics into anything anymore. He used to, but he's learned his lesson about that.
Never seen you behave this way before.
I know.
Have you ever felt this way before?
And he just makes good movies, and he deserves our money for doing that. And that's all I got to say about that. I was entertained by this movie. Extremely entertained. And if you thought the jumbo jet scene in I think it's the Rogue Nation where he's on the side of the plane, if you thought that was amazing, there's a scene in this with biplanes where he has a fight on two planes that is gobsmacking. It's like amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And it's well worth that scene. 100%.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's doing it is amazing, because you can tell with the other actor that's in the scene that it's not him in most of the shots.
Yeah.
But with it's Tom Cruise doing it. It's amazing. So
it's crazy.
Anything you want to say before we get into spoilers?
I kind of went over my initial thoughts. Did you want to hit like your...
I did say that this was convoluted. So, I mean, it is the plot makes no sense. So Christopher McQuarrie, the director of this film, had an interview recently where he talked about how, callbacks to older films is not always like the best thing to do, because it brings you out of the film that they're in and to another film. And I don't know why he said that, because this movie's chock full of callbacks. I mean, I guess the reason that for it is that there's movie, like, this is supposedly the last one. Although Christopher McQuarrie and Tom Cruise have not said this is the last one. They're marketing it as the last one. And with saying those statements, makes me wonder, like, if he was kind of forced by the studio to do callbacks to, the first one. I don't know. It's kind of a strange thing to say and then have your movie have a bunch of callbacks, because there are many, many callbacks in this movie to the first one and then to the third one. And I think the reason for that is because they kind of know that this is the final one, and so they're trying to find a good way to wrap it up.
I think that they had an opportunity here to make this the last Mission Impossible, but it wasn't the best Mission Impossible. And I'm kind of rooting for the last Mission Impossible being the best one.
Yeah, but what else can Tom Cruise do? I mean, he's hung off of things. He's like jumped off of things. Like, what else can we get here? Like, I don't know where we take this any further. So, I mean, he has said something about wanting to go to space and shoot footage in space. So maybe that's his next project. Maybe Ethan Hunt goes to space for some reason. It's like,
didn't they have a Fast and the Furious where like a car gets
a car goes
out in space or something?
That was all CGI. Tom Cruise is actually going to do it.
Yeah, he's actually going to go to space to film it. Yeah, for sure.
That's wild to think about. It's wild to think about that he is an actor who started out as an actor who became a stuntman, and now just does all of his own stunts. Or I would have to say probably the majority of his own stunts. Anyway, that's our initial thoughts. Do you want to get into spoilers?
Yeah.
All right, spoilers for this movie now. I did get a little dusty when they had Ving Rhames' Luther give his life up. Because you start realizing, man, he's been in these movies for, I think he came into the second or third one. No, it was the second one.
No.
He was in he was in the first one.
He was in the first one.
Yeah. You're right.
It's just a joke everyone makes.
And he's been around ever since. And I mean, I think he's considerably older than Tom Cruise, which is why most of his scenes are him sitting down. And
I think he's like older and looks like he doesn't really, like, he wants to retire.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just, let's just say that.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't seem like he's really into it that much to keep going. Well, so I think they needed to kill off his character, really.
Yeah. But he probably says to Tom, he's like, I want to go out heroically. I want to go out like sacrificing myself for the team. And
like a legend.
Yeah. So all that kind of stuff. And I thought it was fitting. I thought it was great. That's one of the pluses. The other plus is the biplane fight scene, which is phenomenal, because it's like the shit that he's doing in this is absolutely amazing. Like, he's jumping from one plane to the next plane. He's punching the guy. And it kind of comes off real, because he's actually doing these things. And so there's that scene where his mouth is all like flapping in the wind because the wind is hitting his face. It's like, it's slightly comical, but at the same time, you're like going, holy shit, this guy's really doing this. And then it's so jarring because when it shows the other actor that it's CG'd actor into a situation where he's like yelling back at him or something like that. It's like, oh my gosh, Tom Cruise is actually doing this and this other guy is not even in this scene. That was amazing. Those are the two positives to this movie. Everything else is just I don't know why they complicated the plot so much.
I'll be honest, I found it entertaining throughout. I felt like it was pretty entertaining. There were a couple times where I like battle fatigue or something. I felt kind of battle fatigued where it's just like, oh, another fight scene. Okay. Yeah. But somehow I kind of got back into it and I felt like it was pretty entertaining throughout. And then, I didn't even realize that the expedition dumps were kind of, I guess I kind of was just like, okay, on to the next thing. Okay. On to the next thing. That I just didn't really like give it much thought that they were sitting and explaining.
Lot. There was a lot of explaining. You're right. The way that they were cutting it was probably keeping the momentum going for it because they kept intercutting between different teams explaining stuff. But there's a lot of stuff in this that I don't think was really needed. Like they imply that the president has a history with the captain of the aircraft carrier, and they imply that they have history together, which is kind of cool, but you don't really need that in a movie that's already kind of full of stuff. And they do the same thing with the captain of the submarine. They just it became very.
I felt like that was what they were saying is the human element of, hey, I know you. We were in such and such place together.
Yeah.
And such thing happened. And at that time, we learned this lesson. Now, my call out to you is that we need to do something different here, or the whole world's gonna burn up in flame.
Yeah,
this is what we need to do. So I felt like there was kind of a reason for that because we're battling AI in this film.
Yeah,
and that's kind of the point, is that this is an AI machine and we're humans. So we needed to tap into that human element in order to beat it.
That's interesting. Okay, that I guess if you put it that way, it's less of a why are we taking the time for this? I mean, it's almost a 3-hour movie. It's a 2-hour and 48-minute movie. Like, it is damn near 3 hours. So it's
the thing that could have cut down some in this film would be just how much they needed to go get a thing. We need to go get this thing. All you need to do is cut one of those down. We need to go get this thing. We need to go get this thing. We need to bring them together. And that was the film is this thing, bring them together. All you need to do is just make one less thing to go get.
Yeah. I mean, because the audience wants to get to the scenes that are really cool, that are, and I got to admit, some of the hand-to-hand combat scenes were kind of cool. Like when he's on the treadmill, that was cool. The fight scene at the very beginning with the French chick, Paris, the actress is, I can't pronounce her name, but her last name, but it's Pom, P-O-M. She played Mantis in Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought that scene was awesome, mostly because she's in a white t-shirt. But anyway.
Nice.
Those are the two hand-to-hand combat scenes, other than the biplane scene, that I thought were just kind of a tier above. And these movies have a tendency to kind of blend together because there's so much action in them. What sets them apart is when you really like a new character that comes in. And I think this movie desperately needed a character like Elsa Faust.
Oh, that died in the last one.
who's played by Rebecca Ferguson from the last couple of movies, because she brought something different to this that the other actresses I don't think are really bringing. There was a little bit with the character of Paris, but Paris was at one point a villain and now she's not a villain. Elsa Faust came across like she was equal to Tom Cruise's Ethan Hunt. Like they both had, a storied history, spy history and all that kind of stuff. So Elsa I thought was a great character that they unfortunately killed off in the last movie. And
I honestly thought she was the best love interest.
Yeah, me too. I thought she was the best love interest he has. Although I love Haley Atwell because of reasons.
Nice.
But she just doesn't have the same, I don't know, gravitas that
is that Grace?
Yeah, that's the Grace character.
Grace character. Yeah. Okay. What about the girl that was in that had kind of she's been spread throughout?
Oh, his like wife, the woman he
his wife,
married.
the one he married. I was cool with that. That story I loved how that story panned out, and then they had to kind of break up. Oh yeah, it was kind of a forbidden love thing.
Yeah,
that I was all good with. But then introducing Elsa into Tom Cruise's life I kind of liked the love Ethan triangle. Hunt's life. I liked that there was like a little bit of a love triangle in, I think it was Fallout that this was in. Yeah, they kind of,
there was like a love triangle,
a little bit of a love triangle, even though she had kind of moved on and it was kind of obvious that she had moved on. But that there was always a special place in her heart for Ethan Hunt.
Yeah.
But I liked how they kind of did that, but then it made sense for him to kind of move on to Elsa.
Yeah.
And be kind of with her. And she, like you said, she was a great equal to Ethan. Grace, I
don't see it.
I don't see it. And they kind of hinted to some romance a little bit in this.
Mm-hmm. And
I wasn't really there for it. I didn't feel like that was their relationship, and anything that was that way felt forced.
Do you think it's the actress or the character?
I think it's both, honestly.
Oh, okay.
With the actress, but also with the character, it didn't feel like it was set up to where, because he kind of mentored her a little bit.
Yeah, he feels like more of a mentor to her.
Yeah, it just felt more like a mentor thing. It doesn't really feel like
equals, on level ground, or because Rebecca Ferguson, the Elsa character, they had this something dark about her that kept like Ethan on his toes kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think this film was kind of missing that. Is it a fitting end like they're marketing it as?
Not really.
I don't think so. Yeah. I kind of hope they make one more and it's a little bit better than this.
I hope that this isn't the last one, just because I felt like it was just down a few rungs from some of their other films.
Yeah, I would agree.
I feel like they could maybe do better for a last one. Although I went into this kind of fully expecting that this was going to be the last one, and we're in spoiler territory, so this isn't spoiling anything. But I honestly thought that Ethan was going to die. Like, I thought that they were going to kill him off, and that they were going to kind of hand off the baton to somebody else.
Well, and there's been rumors that that's what Tom Cruise wants to do, because I think he wants to still make these movies. He just he can't be the lead in them anymore. And I think he kind of
getting older.
Yeah, I think he kind of realizes that he like broke his leg on the last one, his ankle or something. And so I think he's kind of going, I need to pass this on, but I don't want to end these movies. And but the problem with that is he is the selling portion of this movie, because they tried to get Jeremy Renner in. They tried to kind of shove him in, and he was supposed to be the young new guy to come in and kind of, there was rumors that he was going to take over the franchise, and they did, and it just didn't work out. In fact, I don't even know if they mentioned his character. He was in 2 of them. I don't think he was in any more after that. So I mean, creativity is hard. So I mean, and it's obvious from this movie that it's hard, because I mean, at some point, Christopher McQuarrie, I heard an interview with him where he basically stated how things went on most Mission Impossibles, where they didn't even have scripts finished before they were like a third of the way into shooting. They just knew, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And then he has to kind of figure out how to weave all that shit together. And it sounds like absolute chaos to make a movie, man. That sounds like that would be so hard.
Yeah.
And that's why these budgets have probably ballooned. It's supposedly the budget for this was really, really high, like $400 million.
No, really?
Oh, wow.
They're probably gonna lose money on it then.
Yeah. I mean, even though it was like number 1 for a little while, and it's been fighting with Lilo and Stitch, which isn't a bad movie, Lilo and Stitch, but I was kind of surprised by that myself. But anyway, it's been kind of battling it out for the box office, and it's a success. And I want more people to go to it, because I kind of feel like Tom Cruise's graciousness towards fans and towards movie-going audiences deserves reward. I think the way he's treated his last 3 movies and the marketing for his last 3 movies deserves reward. I've never thought he was a great actor, but every movie he makes is on a level above other movies.
Well, and it feels like he pours all of his heart and soul into it. That's one thing, is like, sometimes you can see some of these actors, they come and, or even if they're producing a show, and it just feels like they're showing up for a paycheck.
Yeah.
But like, Tom Cruise really does feel like he puts everything into this. Make a great product, do whatever he can to make it the best. And that's what I noticed about this film too, is just like all these stunts and everything that he's doing. And it's just like, man, he just cares. He really wants to make this the best film he can.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be unfortunate if this is the last one, because it seems like I found myself getting emotional in a couple of places just because of the history of it. And they do a lot of callbacks to the history of it. They show a lot of footage from previous movies as like flashbacks and things like that. While watching it, I was kind of like, oh, this is kind of fitting for an ending. But then you think about it, it's like the plot is all over the place. It's just one thing to get to another thing. And I guess they've all kind of been like that, but this one's it's glaringly obvious with this one, whereas the other ones didn't feel as like in your face about this. I think what happened with Elsa, bringing her into the franchise, helped make it more character based than the next stunt based.
Yeah.
It felt like this was more stunt based than it was character based. So do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Because this one did feel to me like Tom Cruise listed 3 things that he wanted to do, and then Christopher McQuarrie had to figure out how all those things were going to.
In order to get this one, we're going to have to like go get this thing, and then and that way we can put in this stunt over here.
Yeah.
And then, but also you got to be over here in the Arctic, and you got to be in the ice and over here. And then you got to be, and it did feel like there wasn't very much like character connection.
Other than Simon Pegg's character and Ving Rhames' character to Ethan, because they've been there since the beginning. And I thought they were going to kill off Simon Pegg's character too. I think it's more the character moments that we really like more than the plot moments, right?
Mhm.
That's what at least that's what it kind of feels like when we have these kind of convoluted, overly complicated plots.
It makes me want to go back and watch Fallout
Mhm.
and like see how they managed Fallout, which was a superior film, and why that was a superior film.
It's funny that I'm complaining about plot because none of the plots are very memorable. I mean, the
That
reason
amazing.
the reason we remember them is because of the stunt that Tom Cruise did. So when you're talking to people and you're talking about Mission Impossible, you're not going, oh, the one where he got this thing and took it to this thing. No, you're going the one where he climbed on the side of a building and the one where he fought on a plane.
It's not really the plots we remember.
It's not the plots we remember.
It's the
It's the stunt that he did, the amazing stunt that he did, the helicopter stunt from Fallout,
or the bathroom scene with Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill, the one with Henry
that was pretty
Cavill, where
sick.
Henry Cavill locks his guns. That's an amazing scene. But you know that's the kind of thing that those are the things you remember. So, and those are the things you're kind of going there for the movie for. So the exposition dumps and those kind of side character moments are of characters that are new to the show or new to the franchise don't really matter. And they did spend a lot of time with these other characters that you don't know much about and you don't really care about.
Yeah. That I was going to say that the like Grace character, like, sorry, I wasn't really invested in her that much. And of course, last movie was her first one.
Yeah.
Right. So she was introduced in that one.
Well, the car chase scene in that one is amazing when they're handcuffed together. That's amazing. That's an amazing car chase scene.
But then you had the Paris girl, like as hot as she was and everything.
Yeah.
Just the last one was her first one, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and then they had the IMF plugin that just kind of like shows up to fill a space. But
yeah.
And then they introduce a few other characters that were interesting.
And then they bring back a character that you barely knew was in the first one and you barely remember from the first one. The Langley guy, the guy from Langley who got fired with the knife and everything. It's
that was fine. It was kind of interesting, but
it was interesting, but like, why?
They were trying to connect to the
past,
the old ones, the first one, and the first one came out in 96, right?
Yeah, 96.
They had like a callback to 96 that such and such happened in 96. I didn't have a huge problem with that. They were trying to connect over with characters and stuff to the first one. Yeah, I didn't really have a problem with it. I just felt like there could have been more character development with basically any of the team
that we know from previous films. Because if you've been following these films for as long as we've been following these films, that's why I kind of got a little emotional when Luther, dies off, and the way he dies off, it's like to sacrifice himself for the team and all that kind of stuff. And that's the whole motivation of Tom Cruise's character for the last 35 years has been to not have his team die on him like they did in the first one. Because within the first, 5 minutes of the movie, like his entire team is wiped out. I think they've been trying to play off of that for the last 4 or 5 movies. That is his complete motivation, is so he can finish the mission, but finish it without losing a team member.
It felt like there were 3 impossible missions in this film.
Yes.
Whereas it's like impossible mission to get this, impossible mission to get this, and then we can like bring them all together. It just that's kind of how it felt, rather than having kind of one
overall possible mission.
Yeah. It was all these different ones that they had to throw in, and it kind of cheapened them because they had to get him going, right? That impossible mission where he goes down into the submarine.
Yeah.
And which I thought was, I was on the edge of my seat.
It was exciting because it kept rolling, and then as it rolled, everything would fall over, and so it was kind of trapping
torpedoes. It was torpedoes that
falling over him
and stuff. I thought that was kind of intense.
Yeah,
but also, that being said, that was just like an excerpt. That was just a small portion of the film, because they had all these other impossible things that they needed to do.
I heard it's doing okay. I don't think it does well enough to get another one made, because
didn't they lose money on the last one?
They lost money on the last one because it was too expensive. It cost too much to make. And I mean, the stunt with the motorcycle was amazing. And like, there's so many things that he does in these that he deserves our gratitude, because he's showing gratitude. He's actually going to events, and he's talking to people. Say what you want to say about, 15, 20 years ago when he was jumping on couches and shit like that. I don't really care. It turns out that he might have been right about some of the drugs we're taking. I don't really care about that either, but I do care about his movies, and I do care if they do well, because I like to see him be successful, because he does make great movies. I mean, Live, Die, Repeat, or Edge of Tomorrow, Oblivion, a Top Gun Maverick. I mean, that's a great movie. The last couple of Mission Impossibles, they've all been really entertaining and great movies, because he's really dedicated to making an entertaining and great movie. So the last one had a lot of masculine ethos in it. Do you want to talk about that?
It was kind of a weird scene, but there was a scene when he kills some guards at the beginning, and it doesn't show it. It just shows Grace.
Oh,
and she's just like, and he's
just
like,
shows her face.
Just shows her face.
And it's kind of played for laughs, but it's like
a little bit.
But you just realize that he brutally murdered.
He's got like butcher knives and stuff.
Yes, they're sticking out of him.
They're sticking out of him and stuff. And he's just like, what? Like, they were gonna kill it. They were gonna kill you.
They're gonna torture you.
Yeah. And I thought I felt like it was a little out of character for Ethan Hunt, but at the same time, it was kind of, I killed him because we needed to, kind of thing. And Grace was all shocked. So, I mean, that might lend to that monster that's under voluntary control kind of ethos. But anyway, it did seem a little bit odd. It was kind of played off for laughs, but I don't remember ever
a scene like that in these movies before.
Do you see? I'm trying to think back, like showing Ethan Hunt kill someone.
Well, Rogue Nation had a pretty brutal scene where he's got chains on and he's shirtless and he kills a guy. He chokes a guy with the chains. That's one that comes to mind. But that's the only really violent. Like they can't get too violent in these movies. They have to keep it PG-13 because they want as many people to go to it as possible.
Anyway, I was just wondering if that was kind of out of character, but
I don't know. I mean, that he's killed people. One of the problems with these kind of movies is that they have a lot of killing in them, but don't ever show a lot of blood. The point is that when you actually do kill a person, it's not a pretty thing, and you don't recover from it really fast.
The masculine ethos, Luther giving up his life to save the city. That one thing they tried to do that again towards the end, and it was like, okay, I'll stay behind and I'll dearm this bomb. But then 3 of them had to. That was kind of odd. I was just like, okay, so all 3 of you have to die. I'll stay behind too.
There's some strange creative decisions that were made in this movie, and I thought the same thing about the last one, because there were moments in the last one where they had Luther in it, but you could tell that they were cutting away because they made it during COVID, and Ving Rhames was paranoid, I guess, about getting COVID, and so they shot the scenes around him and with him in isolation, and so it's hard to say if these decisions were made because of real world circumstances or for creative circumstances, and that's really hard to say when you're watching it and you're going, why did they do it this way? Like, and you kind of like keep doing that. You kind of keep going, why did they do it that way? I don't know. It felt like Ving Rhames said, I don't want to do anymore. Can you give me a fitting death? And then they worked to give him a fitting death. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's there's some very strange creative decisions that go into these. Like, if you really think about them, here's another thing that I'd like to point out. Let's talk about this for a little bit. American iconography has left movies, and I don't really like that happening because movies have kind of become global. They don't do as well if they have a lot of flags in them and if they show a lot of patriotism. At least that was the thought at one time until Top Gun Maverick. And Top Gun Maverick showed American flags throughout the entire movie. They didn't kowtow to the Chinese propaganda wing. And he doesn't do it in this either. I noticed there were tons of flags everywhere. He's got patches on his uniforms that he wears every once in a while that's got American flags on it. So, I don't know what Tom Cruise's politics is, and I don't really care. I don't care that he's a Scientologist either because it's a weird religion. Who cares? But I think he does believe in the American dream, and because he's a product of it. He grew up poor, and he's the most recognized actor in the world right now. I think he deserves our money, our 15, 20, 30. It's getting more and more expensive to take people to the movies now. I think he deserves it because he works really hard at entertaining us, and he knows that. That's what's amazing about him is he kind of knows that this is entertainment, and I'm just trying to get you to go to the movies.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Anyway, a fun movie. Nothing like other than just a fun time in the movies. That's all you can ask for, really, right?
Yeah.
Check us out on social media, Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Just look for The Sword of the Skull. Thanks for hanging in with us.
And if you liked this, you are the subscriber we are looking for.
Until next time, keep reading, keep listening, keep watching, learn more. We'll see you, brother.
See ya.
There you go, son. Now get out of here. You're bothering.